Hi friends, welcome back to Farm Girl Diaries. My name is Caitlin and today is corn day. So I have never successfully grown corn, first of all. Um, but I've grown a lot. Like I've been able to grow, I think like 2 years so far. Um, but this year I was able to grow a good amount of corn and it looks nice. Um, it looks like nice corn. So we hopefully I'll show you. Hopefully doesn't really show up too well on camera. I get in a thunderstorm. It is windy. It is cooled down a lot, and they're calling for severe storms. Not for another 2 hours, but not really showing up. Right there is pretty dark. So I am very hopeful that I just felt raindrops. Where it's 2 hours early, but I just felt raindrops. Well, we're gonna see. I want to process that corn outside. So we're out here, hopefully gonna get that corn processed for the freezer before the storm comes. So there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about with the corn. I don't know the answers. I'm kind of hoping someone else will know the answers. But if you're new to my channel, this is my corn patch. And it's not very big. Oh, there's some raindrops. I don't think I'm going to get this corn processed before it rains. So we'll see. So my corn did okay. You can see here I have some corn fungus. This is a Mexican delicacy. I am not going to eat it, but I have some of that going on. But a lot of my corn on the inside, the corn stalks on the inside didn't really grow. They stayed short. And then I have some corn. There's thunder. It's gonna rain. I'm gonna need to take this project inside. So that kind of sucks. So I don't really know why some of my corn didn't produce. What's on the inside stayed relatively short. On the outside is what grew tall, and on the outside is what produced. This is an ear corn, and I know like you don't get every single corn gets pollinated and grows beautifully. This is one that kind of is left for the bugs to find. But it's not in time for the rain. That kind of sucks. But we need the rain, so I'll take it. So let's move this party inside. But so while I didn't get the amount of corn that I should have gotten with all of that, with that corn patch, I'm not at all upset with what I got. So I think let's count it. Still raining, but it feels nice. It hasn't rained in a long time. So let's dump this out and see just how many good ears I found. I picked these yesterday. I might have missed them, but I'm hoping I got most of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. $23. So I got just shy of 2 dozen ears of corn. And this is why you can see why I want to do it outside. There are so many bugs in this corn. I talked to another local lady who's very close to me, and she said she also had very buggy corn. So I don't know how to handle buggy corn. But I definitely have that, which is why I'm not taking this inside. After seeing that, just by dumping this out, we are going to shuck this corn out here. Okay, I have us under a little bit of an umbrella. It's not going to rain long, and it's just drizzling. And after we haven't had rain for so long, I'll take a little bit of rain. I'm not at all opposed to it. So yeah, so let's show you what we're working with. I had 2 ears of my corn yesterday, and they taste really, really good. So I'll show you the pack of corn I got. What type of corn this is. I really, really like it. So every corn has the top, maybe this doesn't get pollinated, but there's a lot of worms. That's my main thing that I'm seeing is worms. But that is a gorgeous piece of corn and it tastes delicious. So what I've decided to do is, because a lot of my corn isn't fully, it's either not fully developed or it has worm damage coming pretty far down. I'm just gonna freeze these. Rather than boil this and cut all the corn kernels off, I'm just gonna freeze them as corn cobs. And then throughout the rest of summer, throughout early winter, we can just eat corn on the cob. That's all I'm gonna do. What did I say? I have 23, so one ear shy of 24. And there's worms. Oh, now it is really pouring. I don't know if you guys can see that. You can probably hear it. We so need the rain. I'm so excited about it. And it feels so nice. So, again, I lost half of it, so that's okay. I think we're going to have a great, still a great harvest, especially for the first time being successful growing corn. Oh, here's one not successful. I'm not going to finish opening this one. So here's one. It's kind of turned, kind of bowed, and it's just full of bugs and worms, and I'm not even going to mess with that one. Here's one that's pretty small. So if anyone knows, yeah, same thing. Well, if anyone knows how to control the bug damage, like the worms, I would love to know, because this one, I was going to save the end, but there's worms all over it. So we're going to get what we're going to get this year. I'm going to call it a success. Because I got corn. I got corn that I'm going to put away, and I've never done that before. I've never done that before, so I'm excited to at least have something. I'm just going to keep doing this while it rains around me. At this point, our ground is so dry. See, some don't have good pollination. At this point, our ground is so dry. They're calling for flash floods today. Which, if we get that rain, bring it. But the water is just pooling on the surface. It's not even soaking into the ground. The ground has kind of become a little hydrophobic at this point. I water my garden, and not terrible, but not great. So this is one that I'll leave out for the squirrels to find. So we definitely don't have 2 dozen usable ears. Oh, but this one's nice. But yeah, our ground is so dry. Even when I water, I can stand there and I can put a soak-in spray on my garden, and I can dig a centimeter down, and it's not even a little bit wet. That's a gross top ear, but the bottom of it is good. So, find the lowest point of damage, cut it off. You never would know if that had bug damage. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna take all this corn, I'm gonna soak it in probably vinegar water. I'm gonna soak it in vinegar water and try to get, if there's any worms still in it, get them to come out. I really hope that wasn't the end of this storm. It's already stopped raining. It feels so much cooler. This is the perfect time to be doing this. I love working outside, and I need to work outside more often. And like kitchen-y. Do all my kitchen chores outside. So these are small ears they put in a way, but it's something. So I'm excited about it nonetheless. That one scared me. I think I jumped for that one. Let's get this project done quickly. I have a feeling the storm is not done. Even though it looks clear where the sun was coming from. Just broke my knife. I have to go get a new knife. That sucks. Okay, we started with 23 heads, or 23 ears, not heads. I have some cold water going into a very clean sink. I just added some vinegar because worms do not like vinegar. And then I'm inspecting every one before I put it in the sink to make sure there's none that I see on it. I'm just going to let them soak for 10 to 15 minutes. A whole bunch of worms in my container here. So let's just fill this with water and take this out and throw this away. So if anyone knows why my corn was so buggy, I would really like to know. I don't know if it was just if it's a year thing. It's been hot, much hotter than typical. So I don't know if it's that thing. I don't know. I don't really know. But I still at least got something. So how many do I have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. I have 18 half ears. So some are full size, but most are small. So how am I going to preserve this? Let's let that sit for a few minutes. How am I going to preserve this? So because it's so small, it's not a big harvest at all. My preferred way to preserve corn is to cook it off the cob and freeze it. So when we do corn, my family and I have a day where we set up a whole thing and whole system, and we process corn for both our families. I'm not doing that for this. I'm just not doing that for this. You can also can corn, but I do prefer frozen corn every single time. I don't think I will ever can corn as long as I have access to a freezer. It just tastes so much better. And then because a lot of my ears are so small, I'm like looking for worms. I'm like, do I see any worms down here? I don't, but I'm looking. Because my ears are so small, I'm not even going to worry about cutting it off the cob, period. I am just going to put these in freezer bags and freeze them completely as is, just as like a frozen corn on the cob. And then in August, September, whenever I decide that I want some corn, I can pull out maybe a corn on the cob instead of my frozen packets of corn. So let me show you how much we got. That is how much corn we got so far in that big patch. I don't think we're gonna get more. But corn stalks corn is twofold for me. I love to get the corn. That's obviously the first priority. But then I'm obviously gonna use the corn stalks for fall decorating. So I got a ton of corn stalks at the very least. My corn grew. I don't necessarily know why the corn in the middle stayed smaller. The corn on the outside of my patch definitely grew to be about 6.5 feet tall, whereas corn on the inside probably hit about 5 feet. And that's it. So I'm not really sure what I did there. So if anyone has grown corn and I did something wrong, maybe I planted them too close together. They are planted incredibly close together. I've never had good germination on my corn before ever. So I thought, hey, what the hey, I might have good germination. Or no. So I've never had good germination on my corn ever. So I definitely planted them close together with the intent of getting less corn. Like I planted them close together thinking that I was going to have good germination, so I definitely overplanted. And I didn't need to do that. But while this is soaking, let's go downstairs and see what type of corn this was. I bought this corn new this year. I typically always plant peaches and cream. But this is this isn't a bicolor corn. This is just a yellow corn or gold corn. And everyone said this one was fantastic. So I'm gonna go down in the seed room and find the pack. Oh, it's called Incredible. Okay, yeah, I have heard of Incredible. So that corn is incredible corn, and it does taste very incredible. It does taste very, very delicious. Um, so I'm calling it a success. And that's the thing with gardening, I think. I think sometimes you have great successes, and sometimes you don't have a failure, but you don't have a great success. So I am a glass half full kind of person. So I choose to go with, as long as I harvest something, it is a success. In most cases, I choose not to look at, now in this corn case, the packet of corn was $9, I think it was $6, something like that. So I probably got, I think right now around here, a dozen ears of corn sold for $6 a dozen. So I got pretty close to that. And then I did put a couple bags of compost on that patch, but I also get the corn stalk. So I think for this corn, it's gonna kind of be an even wash money wise. But I try not to like concern myself about the money sometimes. A couple years ago, I spent, probably gonna mess up the numbers, but I think I spent $24 on onion starts, and I harvested like one clump of onions. Definitely spent more money on the onion starts than what I actually got from the onions. But I like to think that every single thing that you do is a learning experience. So now I don't really know why my corn was so buggy. I don't know why my inside didn't produce that well. I don't really know why, but it gives me something, it gives me a start in place so I can go do my research and try to figure out what happened. And then next year, hopefully, I can have better success. But as long as I harvest something, typically I say it's a success. I know there's no pesticides on this corn. I know there's nothing on this corn. So I feel better, even if it is a wash money wise, or I'm a little bit in the hole money wise. I know that I have a superior product than what you're going to buy at the typical grocery store. So I'm going to call this a win. So I'm going to let that corn just continue to soak for a couple more minutes. And then I just have some quart bags, probably put 2 ears in each bag, and then they'll get thrown in the freezer just for, I'm thinking like it might be fun in the winter to channel fall or to channel summer to do like a low country boil in winter. I know you typically do in the summer, but sometimes in like the dead of winter, I want to channel summer. So it might be fun, and this might be fun to have on hand for that. So I'm happy at least I got something to put in the freezer that came from the garden. Thank you guys for joining me on this fun corn adventure. Let me know if you have any thoughts on my issues. And then that blue mold on my corn, I'm not going to eat it, but it is a Mexican delicacy apparently. Apparently it goes really good in quesadillas, my research showed me. So if you've ever tried that, let me know what your thoughts are. I'd be interested to know what it tastes like. I'm not going to taste it, but I'd be interested to know. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.